Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
Baka.
What's up, guys? You just didn't even wait on Baka. You're
Wow, you just
Baka's
like
slow. Baka, you're slow.
oh no, get him, Baka, get him, yeah.
Wow.
Maybe I was saying sub to the Baka. You don't know.
No, you weren't. You would have said it. You would have said it like you
Baka.
meant it.
You just don't care.
Oh, don't make him feel bad.
What games have we been playing this week
I'm a
before
ginger
anybody's feelings
kid.
really get hurt?
Wow. That's how we're going with that.
Small,
Look, you don't want me
so-
to start. I really will hurt somebody's feelings. So let's talk about some games.
Rip,
Wow.
rip.
Look, having a kid did not make me a nicer person to everybody else. He's the only one that gets a pass.
Yeah, it did.
So.
Yeah, it did. She's a little nicer to me. Just a little
Until
though.
he
It's
gets
not
older.
that big of a incremental.
So last Sunday night I played Phasmophobia, or as I like to call it, Phantasmagoria or whatever the fuck you want to say it because
Ghost Hunter
it's too close to
Simulator.
the name.
Ghost Hunter Simulator.
I really enjoy it. Some of the mechanics they have in it was like brilliant in the fact that if you died, for those that don't know, it's literally Ghost Hunter Simulator, like she just said, but the ghost can kill you. And if you die as a ghost, you can actually still help your crew out by going back to the van and looking at all the equipment and stuff there. You just can't do anything, which I think would be fun if I could flick the lights on and off, as a ghost, just to mess with my buddies, but whatever.
Yeah.
Technically, you're not supposed to be able to help your friends because the voice chat ends in game.
Shh.
But I'm just
Yeah, but it would be
I'm just
boring.
saying.
I'm like, here's the thing, if like there was a regular matchmaking that was there, then I would just quit out because I wouldn't be able to do anything to help. You know what I mean? Like there
You
needs
lose
to
your
be
money.
a secondary option for them.
You lose your money if you leave. If you stay in, even if you died, you get your money as long as your crew.
They have to
finishes
take
their
the
stuff.
picture for the insurance, but if they have to get the equipment in the picture. But if they don't do that,
That's
You don't
part
get that
of it,
money
though.
anyway.
In my opinion, is like when you're talking to your crew in the game, and one of you just goes silent, and you're like, "Hey, Oak, hey, I'm not hearing anything from Oak. Has anybody else heard from him?" And you're walking through the house, and you see his dead body laying in the bedroom, and you're like, "Oh shit, he's dead! He's dead! Oh god!" And you're like, "We need to hurry this shit up before he kills it, because if it kills like 2 or 3, you're gonna lose a lot of money." So you want to try to. If one person dies, you best hustle your ass and get out.
Yeah, one of them died. He was trying to get a picture of the ghost, and it wasn't a requirement. He was just doing it to try to get the money, and it's like $10. I'm like, why are you risking your life for $10? Why?
That depends
You know?
on the ghost.
And then we
it's
have
a
to-
more aggressive one, then no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an aggressive one. Fuck this.
But then we had to go. We were on level hard too, by the way, when he did that. But the
Nice.
professional or whatever it is, and so we get up to. I go upstairs and take a picture. The rest of us ended up with like $180 for finishing the objectives and doing that stuff, and he ended up with 120. And I'm like, you would have got 130 if you'd actually gotten the picture. Are you serious right now? Not worth it. Not worth it at all. It is interesting though that you lose your equipment and all that stuff that you've turned in. And I never paid attention if you lose the equipment that stays in the van that's yours. So if you died, but I'm assuming you do, even though it was in the van. But the it was fun. We spent like 3-4 hours playing it last Sunday. Not sure, I might be playing that again tonight for all I know. So it should be entertaining. I like the way it's set up. The different equipment, doing the different things, trying to figure out exactly what you want to take on the job, what we need in the van in order to be able to help everybody's roles, like one person in the van, and then watching the meters to make sure sanity levels are where they need to be so you can swap them out. The only thing I don't like is if your sanity level drops and you come back to the van, it should raise a little. It does not.
Oh, I thought it did.
You gotta take
And I
them.
think-
You gotta take them. Those pills.
You have to
Gotta
take
make
the
sure you
pills
come
to
Gotta
get
take
them up.
drugs to feel better.
But it's
Hell
like
yeah.
it should go up 10% or so, right? Like
Yeah, there
'cause you're
should be
still
like
scared.
a minimum where you can sit.
Yeah,
at.
it should still go back up, and it doesn't do it at all. And I think that's something that needs to be
Suggested.
changed.
Suggested because it's still a fresh game.
Yeah. So that way it's, you're not knocking it back up to 100 by any means, but at the same time, you can go back in, recover, and then go back into the house to work around with your friends. But especially if you've got, if you've got to go back in and take a picture of your buddies that have died in order for them to get money. So that was kind of weird. I also played Darkwood. Went ahead and started it a little bit last Monday. So I'll be playing it again tomorrow. That game is extremely challenging, and you would not think a top-down game being scary, but it's fucking scary. Like, because it's intense. It's not like as scary as in, jump scares. They did a really good job of building the atmosphere around it. Because at night, basically you're stuck in the woods, and you have to turn on the lights and stay in the light at night. And so you can go out during the day and work on things. There's things that'll attack you and stuff too, but but they're easy to kill. But the game forces you to move to one end of the forest to the other. So you can't just sit in one area and survive a little bit and then build yourself up and move. You can only stay there 2 or 3 days before you have to move. And then it gets really, really intense. So, but it'll move things inside your house. Things will move inside your house.
I don't like that.
You've
I'm not okay with
barricaded things. Like they did a really good job atmosphere wise. Like if this was in a first person game, there's no fucking way I'd play it. But in VR game, I could see people trying to play it just because of the way that's set up. I'm like, but they did a really good job. So I've enjoyed it. Played a little bit of Among Us, as well. And, yeah, I've gotten better at lying.
It takes years of practice.
Playing against each other. I've been metaing a little bit because I've been doing the math, like turning around and going, all right, there's 2 of us left, and there's 3 of them. Okay, I'm killing somebody, and then,
I don't think that's
because
meta,
if it's 2v, well, no, if it's 2v2, basically you're paying attention to everything that's in there. So it's 2v2, but the problem with playing with public servers is people drop out.
Mm-hmm.
Blacker ran into somebody
so-
that had a cheat installed where they dropped out of the game, but they were still in the game, so their character was invisible and it was the imposter, so they could just run around and kill people indiscriminately, and you couldn't vote them out because they had
And-
left.
Oh, wow.
It counted them as leaving, but they were still running around killing people. We already voted one of the imposters out, but we couldn't vote them because as far as the game was concerned, that they weren't in there anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Which is weird considering they were the imposter. Because if
Why
you
do
think
people
about
need
it
to
this way,
cheat in
if you
games
quit
like that?
and you're the imposter and you've set the other imposter out, then crewmates win. Right?
But that's the thing,
So,
is they
it's
couldn't
weird.
win because technically the other guy was still there but wasn't, so they couldn't vote him out, so technically he was still in, so he just ran around and killed everybody. But I mean, it's
So
one of
weird.
those things, like, why would you do that? Because that game doesn't have rankings. It doesn't have any sort of public, like, win-loss ratio, so it's not like anybody's gonna inflate numbers by doing something like that, and it's not even that fun. Like,
Well,
The only,
I mean,
the only
it-
thing that there is stats on your character sheet, and nobody gives a fuck about that.
I don't even look
Nobody
at
cares
anything like that. Like, well, who cares? I don't care how many games you've won or lost.
Especially if you got to the point you're playing hide and seek and some of the other games that are available, like that's going to screw up your stat sheet completely.
Mm-hmm.
I just
And
don't
like when we
understand
played the
that.
other night, we had a good time with it. So we had some of the imposters or not imposters, and some of the public people that came in that were really playing and stayed the entire time, even after they died. And so I was the only one that would talk to him in the written chat, or the text chat. I was the only one that would do that. So when we were having a conversation, I'd be like, the rest of us are in Discord. This is what's being said. And that way they kind of knew ahead of time what to expect. And then we, I would just tell them a body was found here or whatever, or Tim is saying the body is found here because Tim might have found the body or whatever. And then we try to figure it out from there. But it was the first time I've played that I was able to get all of my chat done twice. Or not chat, sorry. My tasks done twice. That I was able to go to the cameras and watch people. And one of the people literally was near me most of the time. And I would walk around or whatever, and that person would be next to me, and I was like, this is kind of sus, right? But they could have killed me at any point because we were by ourselves all the time. And they waited until the numbers were in their favor, and then they killed me. And I was like, what?
That was smart play right there. Use
was
you
like,
as an
big
alibi
brain,
the
big
whole
brain.
game. Ah,
Because I was like, this person's near me the whole time, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing I go, boom, dead. I'm like, no, what?
I feel
Was
like
not
that,
expecting that.
that game is enjoyable whether you're good at it or not.
yes, that game is a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Like, even if you're not good at it, just sitting in the rooms and listening to everybody else argue about how it must be so-and-so and things like that, like, it's so enjoyable.
I love
and
the
I-
2 new updates that they did to it. They made it so that you can't see task progress in the game while it's going now,
Boo.
and they made it so that you can't see who votes who.
Oh, I like
No,
those
are
things.
all options.
Really? I didn't know they did that one.
Well, those
Yeah.
are options you can turn on or off.
Yeah, you can turn the option to make it so that nobody can see. Basically, when you see the votes on the people, it's just gray. But if you skip, you can see who skips. So by process of elimination, you can have an idea of who is voting on who.
I got you.
So I like that they're kind of adding things into it to make it even more.
Well,
Like-
and that's the thing is they canceled the second one to add to this one. They said they're just going to make this their main base, right? So I'm glad that you can see that progress being made.
Or not, if you turn the setting off.
Yeah, we're not turning the setting up. Like in my case, I turn. I don't like being knowing whether I've sent out the imposters or not.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
I don't like it.
I think it's better if you don't know.
Yeah, and then I don't like seeing the task either, because that's one of the things that people will pop up
The
a
visual
lot of
tasks
times, especially the
whatnot.
public ones, because they're used to seeing the task, and I'll literally say tasks are off, visual tasks are off, so you can't, see that at all. But I that's cool that they've added where you can't see who voted either. I'm turning that shit off too. Whatever makes it as hard as possible. I'm putting it in.
Yes. Oh, and not seeing the progress bar increase, so you don't know who's faking and not. Oh.
Yeah.
Until a body is found or a meeting is called, then the bar fills up all the way to where it should be, and then you're like, oh shit. So the imposters don't know how much progress is being made, and the normal people don't know who is faking and who's not.
That's awesome.
Yeah, some
I like
pretty
that
good
too.
settings.
Because a lot of times you'll get, because that's one of my things, get your task done. And I did check, because we had people dropping out. If somebody does drop out or their signal drops or whatever, the game adjusts for the tasks based on if those people left.
Oh,
So
Maybe because
that
so many
task bar
people
changes.
were leaving because either they died or if they didn't get imposter, they would leave right away.
Which I don't understand the not being imposter leaving. I like being the crewman more than I do the imposter.
same. I like being the crewmate. It's a lot of fun because you know you're innocent, and all you have to do is find out the other two assholes. You're like, all right,
Right.
I'm watching. Who is it? And then you get
I
murdered.
like being
instantly,
sus
and
of
you're like,
everybody,
"Fuck."
right? So it's like,
Yeah.
Everybody but me sus, obviously.
Yeah, like if you play the imposter, you literally have to turn on Big Brain, and you're like, oh, okay, now how am I gonna do this without fucking getting caught?
I watched
so
some Achievement Hunter play the other day, and one of the people, Lindsay, she hadn't played before, and first game that they played, she was the imposter with Alfredo, who has played a bunch, and they're doing it, where you don't talk in the rounds and everything, so they're not communicating with each other, and But the upside is their editors have the audio for the individuals that they'll run and cut in and out where they need to when they're focusing on people. So Lindsay's husband is trying to tell her what to do and help her along while she's learning how to play. And she's with Fredo, her other imposter. They walk up, or they're walking with together and walk up to somebody else. And Fredo hit the kill button. And Lindsay clicked the body as he hit the kill button. So technically the person was already dead, so she reported him instantly. She reported the dead body. And they're like, oh no. Everybody's like, it was Fredo. Lindsay doesn't know what she's doing. It must be him. So she lost her imposter buddy, like, super quick because she reported the body on accident because she was trying to kill him instead. It's like, no. Oh no. It was so funny. So funny.
That
Playing
is
with new
so
people,
bad.
Hilarious.
It was pretty rough watching that. The imposters in that one were pretty bad. No
Alfredo
offense.
was trying to do
If
pretty
they-
well. It's just everybody else was smart enough
if-
to stick together a lot. And
No, I watched that whole thing with you, and the imposters were bad. And if any of those folks happen to ever watch this podcast, I'm sorry, but that 50 minutes was not filled with incredible imposter play. You guys were bad for those rounds at least.
it was pretty funny.
But that's okay.
It was so bad.
Noob.
That's all I has.
We're still doing World of Warcraft Classic stuff, which, by the way, like, since I know we were talking about it when we were playing, or before we took our break and everything, but in the months, like, following, during that break time, like, we've really bonded with this guild of people. We've made a lot of really cool friends that we see, multiple days every week, and it's pretty awesome. I'm just saying. I love the community aspect of it.
And that's what I wanted out of WoW Classic. Granted, okay, so when we first started playing WoW Classic, we even dabbled with the idea of making a guild, but we really didn't want the responsibility of trying to organize and run 40
because
people.
we've done that before, like, where we were guild leaders on retail, like, a while back, and it's just a lot of extra work that we didn't want to do,
Yeah, so we that's fine, but unfortunately, like one of my buddies says, real leaders will eventually find their way to the front. Unfortunately, I am now in charge of running the 40-mans.
Yeah, he's the raid
So
leader now.
a couple of days a week, I am in charge of running 40 people through our raids, which I guess it's slowly evolved into me taking this leadership role because I became close with the guild master, and he was looking for someone to help push the raids, and apparently I was the one to be tapped for it. So I guess regardless.
And I'm a priest, and I will 100% be honest with you. I go to raids, and I'm like, all right, Bastodon, our paladin, one of our paladins, is usually going to throw out the heal assignments. I just look for my name and do whatever I'm told, and that's it. And buff assignments is the same way. Our class leader, Melly, would put out the buff assignments. I would be like, okay, these are my groups. That's it. I'm just kind of on autopilot. Well, Melly she's in school now, and her school stuff is on her raid nights. So now I'm in charge of the buff assignment stuff, and I'm like, uh-oh. Okay, that's a new responsibility. And then Bastodon was out for a little while, and our guild leader was like, hey, can you do the heal assignments? And I'm like, I don't really ever pay attention. But yeah, sure.
So she
I
got
guess
tapped
so.
to be
And
the
so
healer
I
leader.
was like, no, everybody's looking at me, and I'm thinking I know things, and I don't know things. It's so much pressure.
I'm just the keeper of the repair bot.
Yes, Baka always brings it. And Red has become the guild call out. Like, he does the on calls during the bosses and whatnot. He's the voice of everybody.
We've become
So
kind of important.
unfortunately, all of us decided not to take leadership roles, have been put into leadership roles over time, apparently.
Yeah.
So I guess it is what it is.
Speaking of WoW Classic, I finally got my ring in AP.
Yeah, that takes a really long time. Baga had to slog through a lot of PvP that was probably largely unsuccessful on the Alliance side, because
The funny thing is, my last game for the rep was
You
a
won.
win.
yay!
I knew
I
it.
went out on the win.
Yes.
I will say that it was probably much smarter to do it his way than mine. He did it over months period where he just kind of broke it apart and did it over time and whatnot. I did it over the course of 15 days. Like, let me tell you, I don't ever want to step foot in another. It's been almost a year. I did it in January. The second week in January I started, and I did it for 15 days straight. And let me tell you, I think I've stepped in AV once since then, and it's just like I can't go back in there.
Yeah, I didn't burn
can't.
myself out. Like I'm not gonna push like I did before. But every once in a while, I'm gonna still pop because you get a lot of honor in there.
Oh hell
And
yeah, you
at
do,
this
and trust
point,
me, it
I
hurts to
wanna
not
hit-
go in there.
I want to hit rank 10s at least so I can
60.
get my shoulder since the stupid dog won't drop mine.
Did you hear something?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it was me accidentally hitting a button. I will not do that again.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
I was
as
like,
long
oh,
as
no.
it wasn't
Like,
put on your audio track, then everybody else who's listening won't hear that. Thankfully.
Okay, because I just panicked and started looking around all of my.
Well,
limbs,
I
like,
know
oh my
I've
God,
got
is something
Spotify
playing?
running in the background for me, and I was like, that does not sound like anything.
Normally,
that is on this
normally I have
playlist.
all that turned off, and I was like, ah, panic.
Well, yes, that's. I just wanted to mention that our guild is lovely, and if any of them ever happen to stumble upon this stuff, because I don't like Chicken talks to them in voice chat, Baka talks to them in voice chat. I only type because I am so just. I'm worried about saying something socially awkward and stupid, and so my social anxiety is like, no, we just will not speak in voice chat. So everything that I do is typed. That way I have time to think about what I'm saying before I push the enter button. If they
Nah,
ever
man,
find
I
this,
just-
hey
I have to
guys,
talk to
sorry,
them.
I actually do have a voice.
Now you can see what she looks like. I don't talk to them about any of my outside. Basically, I keep the two social worlds separate. Like I've got my WoW world and my outer WoW world. Yeah, just go with that.
Don't put coffee in the
You okay?
lungs. Just tried to put the coffee in the
You have
the
to
wrong part.
drink it. Don't
Yeah,
breathe
it
it.
It's,
goes
you know,
down into your
I'm
tummy.
having to relearn how to
That's-
coffee, so it's all good.
Relearn how to coffee.
And we started, like, I know I'm talking about our group stuff, but it's because that's mostly what we've been doing. We are teaching my sister how to play D&D. And we started that this weekend, and Chicken is running a campaign for us. And it's been fun. She's way better right out of the gate than I thought she would be, and I know 100% I can be honest that she's better out of the gate than I was when I played D&D the first time. Probably than any time I've played D&D. She's probably put more investment in that
I'm
than I have.
100%. I'm 100% honest. I'm shocked because it like the second day I was like, all right, you got to roll a wisdom check, and she would just grab the dice and toss it in her dice tower, and then be like, okay, it's this. It's like.
Yeah, she was already adding modifiers and everything. Like, she just got that game.
Red's been playing for years
To
and
be
years,
fair,
and I
though,
still have to
Fifth
tell him.
edition was designed around things like this.
Yeah, but to be
Like,
fair,
it
I'm
is
still,
so
I'm
awesome.
DM,
Third
and I'm
edition.
still like, I don't know what I have to roll for that. Just dumb.
Yeah, like,
She's just better at numbers.
It's incredible how fast she picked it up.
She's been, you know, I'll say this, she's been surprising me a lot lately with stuff that we're playing, because she is starting to pick everything up faster, and now I feel bad. I'm like, she's better at games that I've introduced her to that I've been playing for years than I am, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? But it was fun. I mean, I think we all had fun, didn't we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm enjoying the shit out of it.
Baka's like, man, whatever.
No, I said yeah.
Baka and my character and Baka's character do not get along. So there's already
She's
some
a
like
weird anime warlock.
intergame conflict there, but
I love it.
it's fun. It's fun. I imagine I probably won't have a lot of like video game stuff that's new to talk about until I get my hands on Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I mean, I
started
just spent
playing
most
with
of my
Dawn
time
of War
playing.
3.
Oh yeah, it was free this weekend.
No, it was on sale. It was like 90% off, so it was like $4.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was also free this weekend to try.
Oh well, I didn't. I just bought it for $4. So
Oh.
Baka's like, deal.
'cause, I mean, instead of 40, I mean, I was like, oh okay. But it's kind of it reminds me of the first one, but with some of the elements of the second one mixed into it. So it's kind of a mishmash between the two so far. So
Were you enjoying it?
In the first one, you still build bases and call in troops and stuff that way, whereas the second one was like pick your squads or units beforehand, send them out, and then you can hit points to replenish. This one you still build the bases, but you can do like the cover saves. You can do the replenish, which is cheaper. Instead of buying a whole new unit, you can go to one of your base locations and just hit the replenish troop button.
Interesting.
But I've only played a few missions.
I played Call of Duty this weekend. I totally forgot.
You seem to be enjoying it quite a bit.
Yeah, I was playing it a good bit. The main reason why is because I played it for a little bit on Thursday or Friday. I can't remember. Thursday. Played a little bit on Thursday. And I didn't really care for it because it had a totally different feeling than Modern Warfare did. And I kept thinking, how in the world are they gonna... They've got to create an entire new world if they're going to do Warzone with this, because it feels totally different. But the part of the reason why is because it's not as fast. But what they did with that particular game is they made it to where it's based on what guns you're using and what equipment you're equipping onto the gun itself depends on how fast you're running. So, which is kind of realistic. A heavier item means you're going to run slower, right? So they did a really good job, I think, with that. I ended up using the MP5 a lot to get used to the game, because the MP5 was speed-wise was about what I was used to with Modern Warfare, and then I went retroactively back to some of the slower guns to try to unlock some of the stuff for it. Once I started unlocking some of the items and stuff, I enjoyed it a little bit more. They did add a game mode, which I actually wish they would put in Modern Warfare too. It's called Fire Team, and it's Fire Team Bomb Squad or something like that. I can't remember what the actual last part of it is, but the idea behind it is it's a new version of BR essentially. And what you do is you land in groups of fours in areas, so you could have you and your buddies all in an area. And you're picking up uranium out of boxes and feeding a bomb, and then you have to set the bomb. Well, everybody on the map can see all the bombs, and so everybody's fighting over the bombs. And the way you win is to set as many of those off as you possibly can. And so you can see as they're filling up, you can see as they're being set, and then you can see once they've exploded, and it has like three.
Them?
Yes. And so there's 2 or 3 rounds for it. But graphically, I went in and I was like, this looks like shit. Like, this looks bad. What is going on? Why does this look so bad? Because I've just been playing the regular multiplayer and it looked fine. And so I'm thinking I have a problem with my PC. I'm trying to figure shit out. Couldn't figure out what's going on.
Broke it.
And then finally, a friend of mine that's a streamer also, he was like, oh, dude, they dumbed down the graphics because that section would be so large graphically. Like, the demo by itself is 45 gig right now.
Oh my god.
There are 3 maps plus 2 maps for that one. So there's 3 maps in multiplayer, 4 maps maybe in multiplayer, and then those 2, and that's 45 gig alone.
Quote me right here. Call of Duty will be the first game to take up a terabyte. Quote me.
I'm not gonna doubt it on that. I was like,
that Call of Duty will be the first one to take a fucking terabyte of space, and that will be the biggest controversial piece of it when it is released. People will be like,
well,
"Are you?"
One of the things
serious?
they're doing, one of the things they're going to do now is, and they're going to allow you to do with Modern Warfare 2, is to be able to pick and choose parts of the game you want to pull out. So if you've already beat the campaign, you can pull the campaign out. If you don't want to play Warzone, you can pull Warzone out. If you just want to play if you don't want to play multiplayer, you can pull that part out. Just keep Warzone. So they're trying to give you the
Kinda
variety.
like,
but my
the
thing
Master
is,
Chief Collection.
yeah, kind of like the Master Chief Collection ended up doing. But the thing that is, I looked at it and I was like, they're going to end up with 2 maps of Warzone, because they're going to have to. The running's totally different. The way the game feels is totally different. Everything about it's totally different. So this is, to me, this is how they're going to introduce the new maps in Warzone. And so you'll have Warzone that's set in Modern Warfare, and you'll have Warzone that's set in there. That's what I think is going to end up happening, and then you just make a choice which way you're going to go. But the game Warzone will still be free to play. That's what I think is going to happen, and then, but it's the same thing. And the more people that play multiplayer, you know, the quicker they're going to unlock the stuff, because that's the semi pay to win model that Warzone has, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see what they end up doing with that one, but and how it translates over to Warzone. But some of the guns though, man, they feel clunky because they're 80s. Like they did a really good job of some of the stuff, and they had one. The Russian map looks really good. They have another map that's set in Miami with all these neon lights from Miami, with the palm trees and stuff. It looks really, really good. But overall, I ended up enjoying it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Based on that first play, I was like, nope, let me go back to Modern Warfare. And then I ended up playing it on my own for a little bit, and I was like, okay, now I get it. And so it just takes a little bit to get into. But if I had a choice between the two, I think Modern Warfare has the best multiplayer experience that I've felt for COD since, what was the first one on the one? Advanced Warfare, is that what it was?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That was a really popular one.
Yeah, since that one. The one that has the F for respect thing that everybody makes fun of.
Yes, that was Advanced Warfare.
Yeah.
Press F to pay your respects. What if I press G? Well, you don't respect.
Don't respect. Nice.
You don't respect.
Exactly. So, fun times. What news we got?
Not a whole lot.
Or is that everybody?
I've been playing Risk of Rain. I finally unlocked one of the costumes. I almost got the Huntress costume. I know Baka's
playing the
working
second
hard
one
to get the...
Still?
Yes, of course, the second one. The first one's pretty outdated compared to the second one now, because it's just 2D little pixels and whatnot compared to the 3D entire universe. It's really, really incredible. Honestly, I just sit down and I just play that for about an hour. There are artifacts that you can get. Like once you get towards the last level, you can jump. There's a secret area that you can jump down to, put in a special code, and it takes you to a secret level in which you can get an artifact which changes the gameplay drastically. Like it will, some will make it so that you can pick any of your items, or there won't be chests, and you can they'll drop from monsters, or any kind of enemy can appear anywhere, or triple fall damage, or monsters are always elites. Like there's all sorts. I think there's like 13 different artifacts that you can change and turn on, and the replayability in this game is unbelievably high. Probably one of the highest I've ever seen. 2 playthroughs are never the same. You can try different builds and things like that, especially if you can pick your own items and whatnot. But I'm trying to go through and basically collect every single thing, because you have to do specific things to unlock items, and then you have to find those items in the world before you can have the information on them. So I'm trying to do all the achievements and unlock everything and get all the artifacts unlocked and pretty much everything in the game. And there's still a lot to do. And to unlock the character's second outfit, you have to. There are 5 levels. There are 5 stages, and when you get to the 5th stage, you can take the portal to the moon, or you can go underneath and go get your artifact. And it will either way you go, it'll wrap you back to the first stage, and then you'll work your way through again. You have to go all the way through. Either beat the boss on the hardest difficulty, or wrap back to the beginning and make it to the 3rd stage, and then obliterate yourself in one of the special portal areas.
You have to go kill yourself to get stuff.
Yeah,
Nice.
I take a screenshot every time I obliterate myself, just so that I could all right, this is where I got it. And when you obliterate yourself, you get the new costume for them, and there's 2 costumes for every character. It can be quite difficult, especially on the hardest setting, but since I get to pick my own items, I can kind of make it a little easier on myself, since I'm not relying on RNG entirely, because you still are, because you gotta hope monsters will drop equipment and whatnot. And also, Baka, there are monsters in there that I haven't seen before. It's almost like a Santa Claus kind of looking guy. He's got a giant sack, and he's got some crazy attack. But if you kill him, he drops his sack on the ground, and when you open it, it throws out a shitload of items.
It's like a loot Santa.
Yeah, it's like a giant
loot
loot
goblin.
pinata. I didn't see him until like the second way through. I was like, wow, I've never seen this guy before. So yeah, that was cool as hell.
No, I still need
pretty awesome.
to unlock the sorcerer.
Yes, yes.
Every time I go in there, it's not there.
Yeah, I know. You're gonna have to. You might have to go. Well, have you done it? You've done it on your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That's weird.
So
I
it
don't know
still
why
wasn't in there the one time it popped up.
I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I put my time between WoW and that, and I have played a bit of the Super Mario 64 too. I'm at 50 stars. Almost halfway through the game. I'm gonna collect all 120 stars before I move on to Super Mario Sunshine, and then I'll collect all the stars before I move on to Super Mario Galaxy. It is an old game. You could definitely feel that for sure. The controls are a little iffy, for sure.
From what I've been watching with people who used to do speed runs with the 64 version, the fact that the joystick doesn't have the notches makes it a lot more difficult to do certain maneuvers and things in the game.
Oh yes. Oh
That
yes.
makes sense.
Mario, and it's hard because Mario does not turn. He basically will go forward to turn directions. So basically, if you try to turn him around, he'll go forward and try to turn instead of just turning himself. So it's a little tricky because you'll try to. Yeah, you'll be looking one
going
direction
from
and try
what
to
we
turn
were
around and you'll
used
run
to.
off.
Going from what we were used to back in the day to that, and then like you think about it, that's like one of the first 3D games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like them trying to adjust to doing that. Like you said, it's not a spin. It's nothing. It's just there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun though. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I got 50 stars so far. I haven't even beaten Bowser 2 yet. I've been 100%ing every single level before I move on to the next stage. I've finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've got the 100 coin star for 7. And then I'll be done
nice.
with 7, and I can move on to 8, 9, and beat Bowser. There are 2 Bowsers that I have unlocked that I haven't even done yet. So,
Nice.
that's mostly what I do that while I'm babysitting, which is really fun. He likes to watch too. It's interesting. I told Griff I'm gonna make him a challenge when he gets older. I'll be like, all right, if you get all 120 stars in this game, I'll buy you a toy. I'll buy you any toy from the. He's gonna quote me on this too, by the way. I guarantee he's gonna come back and find this episode.
Now, just make sure you're being very specific with things, because if it's anything like the challenge my mom did with me, where she's like, you just have to beat this Castlevania game. For the
Oh no, he has to
64.
get all 120 stars from all the levels in the game.
But she didn't specify that I couldn't use a Game Shark. She just said
That's
to
just
beat
cheating.
the
Well,
game.
all I'm gonna say is my child is going to know that he's gonna need the raw skill to do it, because if you cheat, that it completely invalidates you, and that's in all facets of life.
Good luck, man. You're dealing with
will-
kids.
I will let you get a copy of, or I will, if I find another one, I will send you a copy of Castlevania 64 to borrow, so you can try it. And when you get to the point where you're running with the nitrous stuff or the exploding thing, you're gonna throw your controller.
Come on, everybody has seen me play Sekiro, where I spent 3 hours fighting the same thing over and over again, getting my ass whooped. You just got to learn patience and figure out how to do it. So, some people are just designed differently.
I'd rather do that. Like I've done every Castlevania game with no cheats and everything, but that one, oh my god, that running the that stupid vial, you can't get hit, you can't jump, you can't do anything.
I guarantee there are people at the speedrunner that make it look like it's no problem.
Probably, but when I remember when I was
Or
little trying
they
to
know
do
what
it.
the hack is to get from point A to point B without having to worry about it.
There's probably a no glitch version of it. I don't know. I like things that showcase just skill in games. That's awesome. Show me what you've got.
I
Don't
may give
get
it a shot
swifty.
now that I'm older, but when I was little trying to do it,
Yeah, I don't blame you. When we're little, we have a lot less patience.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's just it though. Like the older Castlevania games where you have to time jumps and all that. Like I did all that, going through and got somewhat frustrated, but nothing like I did for the 64 version.
Also, I think when I was little, I didn't understand the concept of tilting. So whenever I would get upset, I wouldn't know to not like try to pull yourself back. You just kind of fall off the edge and you just keep going until you whip the controller and you're like, "Fuck this game!" And you just never go back.
Stay tilted.
Yeah, yeah. I still get that way every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about the
Right.
handful of news that we have? Because we're in this slump
Yeah.
between like stuff happening over the summer that we didn't get as much of because of all of the COVID stuff, so we didn't get conventions, and now we're waiting for the consoles to come out. So we've got like this
Which
little...
I still don't think. I still don't think there's going to be a lot after the consoles come out.
I think we're gonna hear
We'll
a
get to
lot
talk
of
about
stuff
'em.
from the consoles. Like, this is what happened, stuff like that. But what do you want to talk about now out of all of our like 5 little choices here? Our little sprinkle of news.
Literally a handful.
Yes.
It really is a handful. It's
Don't
5.
merge your
6.
Facebook account with the Oculus
No, it's
Quest
fine.
2.
What?
The Oculus Quest 2 when he said.
Sorry. Sometimes it seems like we're talking over
When you
Baka,
merge
but it's
your-
for some
your-
reason that his stuff is delayed for everybody else, so we don't hear it
Well,
like we should.
Well,
cuts out slightly for me.
but when you do your when you merge your Facebook account with it basically bricks it and makes it a paperweight.
Yeah, I would be pretty upset after having bought a new, $300 machine, essentially, for it to be like, well, Facebook says I can't play with this, so... I don't even have a Facebook. What do I do for
have a
that?
Facebook?
What?
You have to make a Facebook.
Yeah. Do you have to have a Facebook account for that?
Yes.
You do for the Quest 2. Yeah, you did not have to for the original.
It doesn't make sense. Why do I
But-
have to have a Facebook account for this thing?
So that
Because
you
they're
can
owned by
register
Facebook.
But
it.
it's...
Mhm. You basically
dumb.
register it.
Yeah. Guess what? I'm not buying.
It's the same thing like now they have, you have your BattleNet. If you get one of the Activision games for BattleNet, you have to have an Activision account and a BattleNet account, which is
Oh my god,
stupid.
that's dumb.
They should be linked.
Yes.
So then
They're
you
the
have an
same.
Activision account, but the Activision account allows for Xbox and PlayStation people to be able to find you because they have Activision accounts now too. So it's just a way for them kind of linking everything together. But the problem is you're a freaking social media website. Why do I need to register it through your social media website? That's where I see the
I mean,
issue.
shouldn't
But
there be an Oculus standalone site? Why do I have to go to Facebook? Because Facebook wants to sell your information as part of it, but I don't have a Facebook. I don't want a Facebook page. I don't think that this will be a thing that disincentivizes me from buying this product. It's like, yeah, it's a nice price point and it's cool technology, but I'm not into having to have a Facebook account.
I've had my eye on Valve's anyway. Like that's where I'd go with because I trust Valve. Like over somebody like Facebook that's been selling our information for years. But this brings me back to when Oculus was first bought by Facebook. We all made fun of the fact that we'd have these pop-up ads during a game because it was Facebook
now you
owned.
probably
Now
will.
it's kind of reality in the fact that now it's like you have to log into Facebook if you bought it, right?
It's not so much that,
Yeah.
that at this point we were incorrect about the nefarious part of it. It's not that they want to show us pop-up ads yet, because I'm still going to say that that's a possibility that's on the table, but you have to sign up for their service so they can sell your information. So they still profit off of you in a negative way that doesn't benefit you at all. Like,
I mean, to be fair, if they gave me money so that they could sell my info, I would be down. Be like, all right. If you're gonna sell my info, you better give me some of that money that you're making from me.
but they're not gonna. So
No,
No.
hell no. Not if they don't have to.
Yeah, I would actually suggest to anybody, if you have a Facebook account, create a page. It doesn't matter what kind of page it is. Just create a separate, like, because you have your personal page, and then you can create like a business page. Your streamer, you create a streamer page, whatever. But go on there and go into their ad system and see how detailed it is. It's stupid detailed. Like, it is. You can pinpoint as a somebody that's trying to market something. You can pinpoint by demographic of gender, age, race, location in the world. So, and even individual states and local areas. Like, it is so detailed.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the only way they're getting that information is by finding that information from what you're putting in. And it's even your likes and dislikes and all that type of stuff are going to be put into that. So if one time you happen to type into a search engine somewhere, you know, frying pans, you might have a ton of frying pans that end up showing up as an advertisement because of that, you know? So it's,
yeah, tell me about it. I look up cat towers and I get cat towers. I looked up trailers for my lawnmower and I get nothing but trailers. I look up bed and I get spammed with bed advertisement. It is unrelenting how bad they are with the targeted ads. And I wish I could just scream at the website and be like, stop. I swear to God, I'm going to reach through this computer and beat the shit out of whoever's behind it.
so bad.
Yes.
So bad.
Yes, it is.
You think, you know, the problems that they've been having with Twitch, with Amazon, as much as the shit that I buy from Amazon and other people buy from Amazon, or at least search in Amazon for, like, when they had Prime Day the other day, that Twitch would actually, their ads would be toward what you've been searching for. You know, it's like, you think they would use those search engines, but even Amazon doesn't do that.
No. Twitch ads, I get the same one all the time, and it's for DoorDash. I'm like, I'm so tired of this stupid commercial. I just want to watch streamers play games, but DoorDash, eat everything. Like, no. Half this stuff isn't even available. You get what?
Butterfinger ones.
That would be preferable.
I got the Snickers ones for a while.
This is DoorDash.
The Butterfinger investigators or whatever the fuck it is. Who
I've
stole
not
your
even
Butterfinger?
seen that one, and I usually
BFI
watch streams
or
with
whatever.
you. How is this possible? That's dumb.
Maybe they are pinpointed in some way.
I
Yeah,
like
I
Butterfingers
guess.
too.
He wants candy, she wants real food, you know, whatever it is.
Candy.
I don't even use
Yay,
DoorDash.
candy.
I guess that's why they're trying to
But
target me
for
with it.
the Oculus Quest 2 problems, you can contact the support page from Facebook, and they have been helping people fix their accounts and whatnot. But they're being slow.
Well, because they're not
So,
super
take it as you
interested in taking on that kind of responsibility of, you know, actually fixing problems.
I'm so excited to get my VR headset. All I've got to do is wait 5 more years. Actually, it'll be 4 more years after January.
I like that you put dates on things instead of just watching as things develop.
No, I know. Like,
Arbitrary dates.
I've got faith that in 2025 there will be a reasonably priced, decently powerful VR headset from Valve by that time. Since they are focusing on software and their hardware, like their VR headsets, because they've came out with Half-Life Alyx, that they are going to release a better version, and by that point it will be more accessible to a greater audience. Because that is what they need.
I think it just depends on what everybody's interest is in 5 years. Because you think about it this way. We went to the moon in 1969. It took us less than 10 years to get there after it was something that was already, you know, that they were like, hey, this is our challenge, right? Yeah, we've been a few times since then. And then after that, they went, and now we don't even really have a space program. So it's like... I mean,
yeah, but I mean, Steam
you don't
is
know how
the
it's
one
gonna
that's
change
pushing it though, because when they came out with Half-Life Alyx, it is the best VR game that has ever been released. Which there's not like a super big category, but the technology that they used to create that game is incredible. And the one guy making Phasmophobia it works in VR, and it is really, really good too.
Yeah, I think
So
those
there
people are
are
stupid
people
that
that
are playing that in VR, by the way. Like, after playing it regularly, yeah.
Are
there's
they?
no
Is
way.
everybody
They have such a-
crouching? Everybody that does VR? Just want to know.
Only if you're sitting. You'll be crouching.
I just think that's hilarious.
And to be fair, the people in VR have a huge advantage because they can attach things to their belt and carry 2 things. So they can have 4 items total.
Why do they set it up that way? I guess just because that's weird.
I've watched a couple people and it's super fucking cool because they'll just pick up something and then stick it on their, like, they'll turn on their flashlight and then stick it to their belt and then pick up the EMF reader and stick it to their belt and it'll be on so that you can kind of walk around like that, and then they'll grab a notebook so that they can have it to throw down. Like,
That's
it's
weird
pretty
too,
cool.
because the flashlight like sits on people's shoulders basically when you're walking around. But okay, that's funny. Mine just switches through. So like I'll do, if you turn on any of the items, any of them, they stay on. So you just can flip through. And that's what I do, is I just flip through them. Because I usually I'll have an EMF and a flashlight both on at the same time usually. It's gonna be interesting. I think I'm interested to see how they end up handling this, because you're dealing with mass lawsuits if they don't go ahead and replace these issues.
Well,
like if they don't have a way to unbrick them, which it's
they're
brick.
not being bricked. They're not being bricked. Remember that. They don't get baited. The actual headset is fine. They just can't use it because they can't log into their accounts.
See, and I don't understand why they never, because the way that the complaint from the other day that we read, it looked as though they had an Oculus account, like an actual Oculus account, and then the Facebook had to be like, why not just keep Oculus accounts?
Because what it says at the bottom of the article, by 2023, January 1st, 2023, Oculus accounts will be ended. You will no longer be able to make an Oculus account.
So basically what that means is eventually this is going to, like, the next one that'll come out is going to be Facebook Quest 3.
Yeah.
Yes, it will be Facebook Quest 3.
Yep.
Bizarre.
So they're eliminating Oculus.
Oh yeah, they basically bought them and then just ate them alive, and now they're gone, and Facebook has their technology.
Wow. Destiny 2, there's a few sites that are out there that happen to help with aimbots and things like that, one of which happens to be Perfect Aim. But Destiny 2 has figured out a way around, or not around, but figured out how to eliminate that. They issued a complaint towards Perfect Aim. I would love it if more people would do this to eliminate aimbots in general.
Yeah.
But basically, they're like, this product is no longer available. They had sent them a cease and desist. There was already cheaters in the new Call of Duty demo.
Surprise, surprise.
Dude, some people are
And
so bad at video games they have to cheat. Like, they have to. It's the only thing that makes them feel better about their life.
That's it.
Like,
It
either
doesn't
ruining
matter
people's
if
day.
there's rankings or not. There's people who are just going to cheat. No
Yes,
matter
because
what.
they have nothing in their life that gives them any form of satisfaction except either pretending to be really good or ruining someone else's day. That's
yeah,
it.
I think
That's
it's
all they
ruining
have.
other people's days that they kind of get off on more than pretending to be good. Because you're not good.
See, I would do it.
mean,
The only way I would
Yeah.
do some type of thing to cheat with somebody is like if it was one of those where it was a group of friends together and you wanted to just troll them a little, just that they're like, how's he doing that? What's going on? One of those type things for, 30 minutes to an hour, and then you kind of let them in on what's going on, and then, get a good laugh, have a nice day. I don't understand doing it on an online situation. It's like, if you're not good at the game, just stop fucking playing the game.
or play the game
Or
more
get better.
and get better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah,
back
well,
when-
I do
when
like
I used to-
we used to do, which is, and I don't know if Chicken did this, but I know I did. Or Baka might have done this as well. Is literally I'd go into Halo and I'd play on the hardest level, because then you learn how to get better with your guns, learn how to work all that, and then when you got into playing actual people that didn't play at that high of a level, you're better than them a lot of times, because you were fighting multiples at one time and trying to get through it versus, okay, 1v1, I got you. You know, and I don't understand why kids don't play that nowadays. Oh wait, they don't play the fucking campaign. And I was bitching about this with doing the Call of Duty stuff. Is they need to make it, if you want to make Call of Duty campaign work, it needs to be to where as you're playing with these guns, it's unlocking as you play for the multiplayer. Instead of me having to go into the multiplayer to unlock some of the stuff, I can play through the campaign. Now I've learned the mechanics. I'm playing the game. You know, hopefully it's a decent plot line. You never know. And then you go through and now you got shit that's unlocked, and you're giving an incentive to do it. A lot of times there was a few games that were out there. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there are a few that you had to beat the game in order to unlock certain things. They might have been cosmetics, but everybody wanted them, so they played through the regular campaign. And now people just, you know, let's just cheat and act like we're cool badasses.
There's no money in the campaign anymore. So like, why do that when you can just go, hey, give us $5 and here's a bunch of skins.
Right.
Thank goodness we still have games like Cyberpunk on their way that prove that there are single player god tier games that people still want.
I want it. I can't wait. Like, I'm so ready for this game.
Yeah, I'm buying it just because of CD Projekt Red alone.
I'm just
I love
hoping
the
it's not going to be
idea
a
of it.
flop and overhyped.
I would recommend waiting like a week, just a week, so that they can go ahead and release the day one or the giant week one patch so that it fixes all the problems that are in it.
Well, I'm
'Cause
going to get it.
If you're going to have crashes and bugs and all sorts of terrible shit that happens, it's just how it is in this day and age. And I know CD Projekt Red is hoping to be the better one, but I do have a strong feeling that it will probably be because of how.
I mean, The Witcher had issues right out of the gate too, but it was still
absolutely.
freaking amazing game.
Well, they said they're in
but
crunch time right now until its release date anyway, so that means that they're
still
pushing
pushing hard.
through.
Yeah.
So they're probably, because the game's done. Everybody knows that the game is done and packaged and ready to be shipped. What they're doing now is fixing all of the bugs that they have found afterwards.
Yeah.
So they're getting ready for that giant fucking day one patch.
Every game has that now. There's literally no game that comes out without a day one patch. A AAA game, at least. I mean, indie games seem to be able to get their shit together a little better these days.
It's because they put themselves on a timeline. They get the game done and packaged, and then while they're testing and whatnot, they find all these problems, and they're like, okay, we can still do the deadline. We're just going to fix all this stuff while we wait for the release date to come, and then we'll release a patch on the release date. It's not like they're like on release day, all the packages are being made and the discs are being burned.
Yeah.
All that shit is already done. I guarantee it. There's warehouses full of Cyberpunk games right now.
Well, I mean, that's
It's
what they're
just that
working on, though. The rush to finish everything up is for the patch. It's not for the launched content.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it is what it is.
That's
and I know
why
you said
they
something
pushed
about
the
being
release date
overhyped,
back.
but I intentionally have stayed away from everything. Like, they've been posting so much, like, here's a scene, or here's a couple of hours of gameplay. I'm not watching any of that stuff. I want this game to be 100% fresh to me. And I think it's weird, too. Like, a few weeks ago, I mentioned it to Oak because the Cyberpunk Twitter was like, which faction do you like the best? Here's a bunch of phone wallpapers. And it's like, nobody's played the game to know which faction they like best. Why are you doing this? All they can do is go, I like the aesthetic of these people. I don't know.
I'm like super interested because there have been a lot of things. In my opinion, the things said about this game is like the things promised in No Man's Sky. Like, it is a massive endeavor for what they say is going to be this game.
Well, they've been working
Which,
on
I
it
mean,
for a
from CD
while.
Projekt Red, yeah, like CD Projekt Red, it knows they can make a damn fine game. So I'm super interested to see, like, is this the next Skyrim in caliber of games? Because, I mean, Skyrim, when they released it, it was like, brah, you see how much is in this game? You can spend 5,000 hours and barely get out of the starting zone.
Well, I mean, we've been waiting 8 years for this game, so at the end of the day,
Yeah, I'm ready.
you know, we're ready. You know, that first video of the showing the cyberpunk girl and the freaking bullet shattering on her eye or whatever, it was like, what? You know, and then it's like we've been waiting for for 8 years for this to actually become a thing.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
I can't wait. I
Keanu
cannot wait to
Reeves.
see what they do.
Well, you want to touch on these last couple of news things so that we can go ahead and get out of here? 'Cause
Mhm.
Works for
speaking
me.
of Skyrim, I have Skyrim to record, so.
Okay.
Uh,
The quick article
go
is Blizzard is going to do the same thing to StarCraft as they did to Heroes of the Storm. They're not doing any more new content. They're going to go ahead and skeleton crew that thing and do balance changes and esport support for now.
But
I
that's
assume it's going to get the Heroes treatment eventually and kill off the esports and then just kill off the game and let it die.
because it's not making the
Which-
money that Activision wants to make.
Yeah, and Activision Blizzard control everything, so it is what it is. Yeah, so that's all for that article.
Xbox Series X and S has now got a launch lineup. Basically it's it's a ton of games. I'm not going to mention all the games. Some of them you can think of all automatically, which is games that already exist on the one, like Sea of Thieves. Of course, Fortnite's going to be on there. Your Gears games, Grounded, things like that. And then you have any of the newer games are going to be coming onto it as well. But one of the things that Chicken had to look up and find out exactly what it meant is a thing called smart delivery. So let's say you're getting Assassin's Creed Valhalla and you have an Xbox One X. The version you download is built for your system, where if you're downloading the one for the Series X, it's optimized for the Series X because it's got a higher graphic ability and can get it at a higher frames per second as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that's handled too with the if you go buy the hardware, go buy the actual physical copies of it.
Mhm.
If it's just a patch that they're adding into the smart delivery system and it's basically the same shit in two different containers. Like let's say you're buying Valhalla, like one's $60 and the other one's $70. Shouldn't I just buy this one and get the free upgrade? Like save myself $10. I'm money interested because I know like with Cyberpunk and things like that, they're giving a free update to it and all the first party stuff's going to be free updated.
Yeah.
So you definitely have no incentive to purchase the version of it for the Xbox 360. I mean the Xbox 360. Wow, I'm way behind. Xbox Series X.
Xbox 360.
If it's going to give you a free upgrade and you can save yourself $10. I mean that's the way I'm looking at it right now. But some of the games that they've got on there, like it doesn't surprise me at all that they're doing the smart delivery system for them. Sea of Thieves is going to look fantastic on a lot of these people's televisions, and I am jealous of that. To be able to get to 4K on TV, I've got I'll do 4K on my PC, but sitting in front of a 60-inch of that beautiful water from Sea of Thieves would make me happy.
Dude, I'm telling you, give me a goddamn VR version of Sea of Thieves. Holy shit.
I'd play the hell out of that.
Oh my god.
I'd play the hell out of that, but Microsoft's not going to do anything VR, so at least not yet. It'll be a while for them.
not
Maybe
yet.
they're waiting the 5 years too.
Hell yeah. They're like, all right, we're still working on it in the background. Don't tell anybody. I got you, Microsoft. I got you.
That'll work.
Keep it quiet.
They might be working on the hardware aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wonder. I don't know. I don't even know if they're still working on their AR technology.
I don't know. It used to pop up on some things. You'll even see like an app for it. But I don't know if it still exists or not. What was it? It wasn't called Halo, was it?
What?
Their AR. What do they call their AR?
Oh, geez. It's been so long since they had it and got rid of it. I don't know. Let me Google it.
HoloLens.
That's what it was. That's why you were thinking Halo.
It was right. HoloLens.
Microsoft HoloLens. Successor, the HoloLens 2.
Yep.
Are they still working on that? Or is that...
Yeah, I think they're still working on it. They're probably trying to find something that they can apply it to outside of like the scientific world.
Yes, they are still working on it currently. Wait, no, it was released?
Well, I mean, are they still adding updates and everything? I didn't know if
Probably.
HoloLens was something that they're like, well, this is not working out. Just, get rid of it.
Yeah, I think they're using it more of a commercial use instead of a personal use.
Oh,
Even though
wow,
they
that
advertise.
is- Like, looking at the picture of this is actually pretty fucking clever, too. Because it's somebody working on something, and they've got a video up next to them so that they can work on it while, like, talk to the person, troubleshoot, while working on the object at the same time. And they can see it in the peripheral.
Buy one
pretty
now.
Neat. I think you can.
Yes, the going price is $3,500.
Nope, I'm good.
Sure.
That is actually a pretty neat piece of technology.
It is, but that price for that price point,
3,500.
I don't have enough of a need for that. Like I don't have enough business going on at one time that I need something like that. But it's neat though. If you've got a bunch of stuff going on,
Yeah.
totally understandable.
Hell yeah.
Chicken, you wanna discuss the last bit because I know you were the one that kind of fell prey to the clickbait on it.
Yeah, I put the article in the in my Discord a while back, and I fell for the clickbait because I didn't read the article like a dumbass. Don't fall for clickbait, goddammit. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so the original thing that I saw from GameSpot, Phil Spencer says Microsoft has no obligation to release Bethesda games on other platforms. So I just tweeted that, and I was like, okay, they're gonna go the Epic route, which is start buying up companies and then forcing people to play those games on their side. That's not even close to what the fuck he said. I went ahead and read the whole thing and whatnot, and like he answered the question that was asked of him in a very specific way, and then because it was like, yeah, we don't have to put them anywhere if we want to make back the 7.5 billion. But that is not why we bought Bethesda. We did not buy what is it, Miramax games?
ZeniMax.
Miramax.
ZeniMax. We did not buy ZeniMax games to make it so
Miramax
that
is idiot.
yeah, to make it so that people didn't have less choice to play games. We bought it so that we could make
These games
what
and
companies
the money
do.
that comes with them, but still give them to.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
saw when you posted that, and I didn't read it because I was in the middle of doing a bunch of other stuff at the time. So I was like, "Here's my thoughts on just the topic." But I mean, it's true. Microsoft would not really benefit by trying to make any of the Bethesda games, or the other studios really, console exclusive or platform exclusive to them. I mean, they know they're gonna make the money
Like,
back anyway. It doesn't really matter.
I get like doing some of their because my thing was I hope that they let Bethesda and all of the other companies make their games kind of multi-platform like they were, but have them start working on stuff specifically like new IPs specifically for Microsoft and whatnot. Like everything that was already cross-platform and available for everybody, gets to stay that way, so nobody's getting cut out of their beloved IPs and whatnot, but the new stuff that they're working on can, be like,
I don't know
I think
if
that's what
you-
they're doing with
Yeah.
Oblivion. Is like Oblivion, that one that they showed the video for Series X, which is the arrows shooting across or whatever. That's that particular one is, I think it's one of their series that already exists maybe, and then they're just adding to that. That's one that I think will carry over. I think they were already working on Outer Worlds, so I think that'll carry over. But I think it'll eventually make it to where they're going to have an RPG of their own that's only going to be Microsoft exclusive.
I think you're probably gonna get that from one of the other studios. You're not gonna get a Bethesda Softworks. You're gonna get like an Arcane or an id that's gonna work on something like that because it's a smaller studio, but it means that they could devote more to it because they don't have as many franchises that they already have to handle like Bethesda does. I mean, you've already got things like Fallout, and the fact that Bethesda's still trying to keep up the Fallout 76 servers and content going to that. Things like that.
Hey,
I think
Fallout 76 is doing incredible for the record. It is actually
It is
filling out
now.
to a pretty decent game. Yeah. To be fair, it's the same thing with No Man's Sky. They literally handed you a giant turd and polished it so much that you can't even tell it's a turd anymore.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I think that's a bizarre way to try to do stuff, especially with those two launching, not in early access, but full launch. Like, especially Fallout 76, because Bethesda could have, 100% was in charge of that and should have put it in early access. But I think that there are certain franchises that you expect from Bethesda Softworks, and they're probably going to maintain. Microsoft's going to let them maintain that kind of stuff, and then ask the other studios to start doing some exclusive work. I mean, that's how
That's
I
a
would do it.
possibility. I mean, they bought a bunch of studios by buying ZeniMax.
Yes.
And they've done really well with Rare. They're literally letting Rare do what Rare does best. They're walking
Yes.
in. They're doing what Nordic does, which is they just going in and they're saying, "Okay, what are y'all working on? That looks cool. Awesome. Have a nice day." You know,
Keep
like,
doing what you're doing.
Well, once they stop making them like they do the stupid Kinect games, yeah, they've been doing good.
Yeah. I think that's how
Like,
any
they
publisher
let
should
them
be.
do they let them
Yes.
do that weird Banjo-Kazooie game, and I think Microsoft at the time had their hand in the cookie jar with it too much, and it ended up not being very good. And then after that, that's where they're like, "Oh, okay, you work on Kinect games from now on," and then that was it.
Yeah,
I think Phil kind of works that way though.
And the perfect example of companies doing the opposite of that is companies like EA, where, you know, you put your hand in the
Ugh.
cookie jar. Well, they fucking pick up the cookie jar and smash that son of a bitch and say, rebuild it.
I watched
If they wouldn't have fucked around with Anthem and, like, let the company do it or build something else or given them the resources, I guarantee that game would have come out pretty well. But constantly being stuffed by all the higher ups and not given the support and whatnot just caused that game to completely collapse. And they have to completely rebuild it now, which they're still doing.
I actually watched a thing on EA last night and how it started and came into what it is now. And it's so weird because they've been doing that thing where they acquire smaller studios and then kill them almost since the beginning of their inception. Like, they were originally going to be called, I can't remember what their original name was, but they changed it to Electronic Arts because they felt like, you know, games are art and they should be recognized. That's why game designers' names were on the covers of their old games and everything. And then they got to a point where they were acquiring studios, and it's almost like, we know what you're capable of, we just need you to do this in like half the time that you would normally take you, and probably like twice the scale. And they just started crushing little studios that they bought because they had liked their products under their own weight. And they've been doing that since the 90s. It's like, stop! This is not serving you, and you still can't see that you're making the same mistakes for decades? Why?
I mean, you have THQ Nordic, which is handling it super well. It picks up these companies and it sets it down at a nice table, and they give them all the tools that they need and the money and the help, and they're like, draw me something
that's
amazing.
what it should be like.
I'll be back later. Microsoft is doing that too. They're picking up these companies, except the new one is really heavy. They had to get a big table for this one, and they're setting them down, and they're like, all right, make me a picture. Here's the resources. Do what you do best. And they're letting them go.
Well, and I hope that
They're not fucking
Microsoft
constantly
will, one of
sticking
the
their hand
only
on the
ways
table.
that I do want Microsoft to step in on stuff like that is to have a better quality control. Because Microsoft never would have let Bethesda launch Fallout 76 in the state that it was in. They would have either early accessed that,
But to
or they
be
would have
fair-
told them to keep working on it and push the date.
To be fair, they would have if Microsoft would have been in control at that point.
Yep.
Because, like, Grounded, I guarantee the original versions of Grounded, or like it's a pretty solid game for sure. They've got a really good foundation, but I guarantee Microsoft was like, this is not done. You can release it in early access, but you can work on it from there.
Yeah.
We'll put it on Game Pass, and we'll let people access it, and you can use that feedback to make it better, but you can't release it in this state. And they're like, perfect, cool, deal. Guarantee that would have been Bethesda's too, but like, this game is broken, and it barely works. You could do early access to get it fixed, but you cannot sell it at full price point like this.
Yeah. So we'll see. Don't fall for clickbait. That's the moral of that story. And also, don't worry,
Yeah, don't fall
Bethesda's
for
games are
clickbait.
probably not going to be Microsoft exclusive. They don't really seem to have any interest in that.
No.
No, they want everybody to play everywhere. They want their games
Yes.
on every platform.
Yep.
So, which is why they're not doing exclusives. Like, there's no exclusives on Xbox and haven't been for a very long time.
Well, it's
Well,
Xbox
there
and
are,
PC,
but-
though. Because, I mean, Gears is
Well, I
still-
mean, I'm talking, right, that's Microsoft.
yes.
What I'm saying is there's not been exclusives on Xbox for a very long time. So And part of the reason for that is they're saying we want you to be able to play everywhere. So anything Microsoft can control, they want all their games on all platforms.
Except for PlayStation. Because you're not going to get a Gears or a Halo on PlayStation. I really don't see them ever wanting to do that.
No, they're not. They're going to do that, but they do want you to be able to play on everything else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I think they'll end up being on Nintendo through that server.
We'll see.
I
think Game Pass-
if Microsoft was like, here's Switch, here's some Halo.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got to get out of here and go record some Skyrim. Because all my stuff
work.
finally works.
Woohoo.
So I didn't get to post anything this week.
We appreciate everybody that hangs out with each and every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Griff.
At Griff's Lineham.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313. I remember this week. I got you.
You can check out Baka.
At Baka Pickle.
Also, make sure you go to Griff's YouTube channel that she was just talking about, where she's starting up her Skyrim. And then go to twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313, where Chicken hopefully next month will start up again.
Yeah, so say don't go there yet. Wait about a month. or
So,
actually
but
a
no,
couple
hit
weeks.
follow. Go hit the follow button if you hit the follow button.
And the little bell next to it. Ding.
Then when he goes live next month, you'll know. Ding. And then also make sure you go to Twitch as well and go to MDB Oaktree, where I stream just about every single day except for Wednesdays. So for Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Chicken.
Nah, I'm Baka.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.